The sun rises quietly over my fields, spilling light across dew-soaked grass. There's a gentle hum, a distant tractor, a cow's lowing, a bird's cheeky chirp. This is the sound of my world now. Honest, real, alive. It's a world away from the relentless noise of Hollywood. There, it was constant phones ringing, parties buzzing, engines roaring, applause thundering. That noise drowns out your thoughts, makes you forget who you are. Here, silence isn't empty, it's full of life. You learn to listen. The wind in the barley, the tractor's engine, rain on the barn roof. Each sound means something. It's a language of the land. In Hollywood, the loudest noise was always my own name, shouted, whispered, plastered on posters. It was supposed to mean success, but it was just noise. Now the loudest noise is a newborn lamb's bleat or the rumble of a combine harvester. These are the sounds of real work, real life. You can't fake them. Here, every sound matters. The silence is never empty. It's a symphony of meaning. I had to learn to listen all over again. The difference is simple. One world is about being seen, the other is about truly seeing. I choose the quiet, and in it I finally hear myself, and that's the best sound of all. My rise in Hollywood was a fairy tale. Small parts, then stardom, then money beyond reason. I bought the house, the cars, the view. People wanted my autograph, my photo. On paper, it was perfect. I was living the dream, or so everyone said. But my life became a glossy illusion. Yachts, awards, parties I didn't want to attend. Behind the scenes, it was a hamster wheel. Auditions, trainers, endless meetings. The perks were real, but so was the emptiness. You become a commodity, a face to add sparkle to someone else's event. Your value is measured by recognition, not reality. It's a dangerous way to live, believing your worth is in the headlines. I was the main attraction in a very fancy zoo. My life was public property, my privacy gone. The cage was gilded, but it was still a cage. Bars made of expectation and fear. Agents and publicists kept me polished for the crowd. I started to believe the image, not the man. The comfort was real, but so was the confinement. I was trapped by the need to be seen, to stay relevant. The world saw a star. I felt like an exhibit. It's no way for anyone to live. The applause fades, but the bars remain. I wanted out, but didn't know how. The dream had become a prison. I was ready to escape, even if it meant losing everything. Sometimes freedom is worth more than fame, and I was desperate to be free. For a while, applause and paychecks fill you up. You convince yourself you're making art, telling stories that matter. But after each film, there's a hollowness, like eating candy floss. Sweet, impressive, but empty. The work became routine. Learn lines, hit marks, pretend emotion, repeat. I spent so much time being other people, I forgot who I was. The emptiness grew, no matter how much I achieved. I tried to drown it out with faster cars, louder parties, bigger roles, but nothing filled the void. I had everything, fame, wealth, adoration, and felt spiritually bankrupt. Alone at parties, alone in my mansion, I felt nothing. My life looked full, but it was meaningless. I was entertaining, but not building anything real. I was a ghost in a machine, a well-paid phantom. The more I succeeded, the emptier I became. I realized I was living for applause, not for myself. I needed something real, something lasting. I needed to find myself again. The breaking point wasn't dramatic, it was a quiet moment in my agent's office. He pitched a superhero franchise, sequels, spin-offs, my face on lunchboxes. It was the biggest offer of my career, but all I felt was absurdity. 10 years in a green screen studio pretending to save the world. I looked out at Los Angeles, traffic, smog, desperation. I wanted to be somewhere real, where worth wasn't measured by box office returns. My agent kept talking, but I was already gone. I said no. Just one word, but it changed everything. He stared, confused and panicked. I repeated, "I don't want to do it. I don't want any of it anymore." His face was a mix of disbelief and fear, like watching his prize racehorse turn into a donkey. For the first time in years, I felt a flicker of happiness. That simple no was my first step toward freedom. I realized I didn't have to keep playing the part. I could walk away. I could choose a different life. The world wouldn't end if I stopped pretending. That moment was my real turning point. I was finally ready to leave. Leaving Hollywood isn't like quitting a normal job. My agent thought I was losing my mind. He sent therapists, producers, anyone to talk sense into me. My publicist spun stories about creative exhaustion. They couldn't grasp that I just wanted out. The phone rang with offers, films, TV, theater. I stopped answering. I changed my number, told my manager to sell the house, the art, the cars. I dismantled the life I'd built, piece by piece. The hardest part was letting go of the identity. Being an actor was who I was. Giving it up felt like jumping off a cliff. But the more I let go, the lighter I felt. Selling the sports car wasn't a loss. It was a relief. I didn't have to be that person anymore. The final step, a plane ticket, not to Cannes or Bali, but to my grandfather's old farm. As the plane left LA, I felt no regret, just freedom. I was turning off the floodlights, walking off the stage. The show was over, and I was happier than I'd ever been. I was ready for something real. I was ready to start again. Sometimes the best way forward is to walk away. The farm was a wreck. Crumbling house, broken fences, fields of weeds. I'd traded luxury for decay and doubt. The first weeks were disasters. I knew nothing about plumbing, carpentry, or farming. My acting skills were useless when the kitchen flooded. The work was brutal. Mud, rain, blisters, ancient machinery. I fell into bed exhausted, but it was a good kind of tired. Every small victory, a fixed roof, a running tractor, felt monumental. I learned the land's rhythms, not from a script, but from the sky and soil. Real work has a purity. You see what you've accomplished at day's end. The land doesn't care who you were, it only responds to effort. No shortcuts, no applause, just you and the job. For the first time, I was judged on something real. Success or failure was in my own hands. It was terrifying and wonderfully liberating. I was finally building, not pretending. The blisters were proof I was alive, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Farming is a masterclass in humility. You battle weather, markets, and a million things that can go wrong. You can do everything right and still lose to a late frost or a drought. The land teaches you you're not in charge. In Hollywood, I got my way. Here, I adapt or fail. You can't negotiate with rain or charm a fungus. Every action has a consequence. Fix the fence or lose the sheep, plant on time or miss the harvest. There's no ambiguity. Results are clear and honest. This logic brought peace and clarity. My goals became simple. Keep the sheep alive, harvest before rain, pay the bills. The nonsense fell away. Only what mattered remained. I wasn't playing a part anymore. I was a man with a real job, living by real rules. Slowly the farm came back to life, and so did I. The fields were straight, the fences strong, the barn dry. I was leaner, stronger, and tired in the best way. The rewards weren't money or fame, but quiet moments of satisfaction. Delivering a lamb, seeing green shoots, eating food I'd grown, these filled the emptiness. True wealth isn't in your bank account, it's in purpose and connection. I was rich in all the ways that count. My old friends couldn't understand. They saw it as failure, but I knew better. This was an advance, not a retreat. I'd gained peace, clarity, and satisfaction deeper than any award. The gold was in the soil, the rain, the honest work. I hadn't lost anything. I'd finally found what mattered. My journey taught me that success isn't about climbing higher. Sometimes it's about finding the right place to stand still. Wanting less can be an act of courage. True contentment is found in a smaller, simpler, more focused life. My win isn't a blockbuster or a trophy. It's a healthy flock, a barn of hay, a sky full of stars. These riches can't be bought. They're earned through hard work and patience. This life isn't for everyone, but the principle is universal. Define success for yourself. If your path leaves you empty, find a new map. Maybe happiness is on a quiet country lane, not a grand highway. Sometimes the bravest thing is to stop chasing what the world wants for you. Build a life you actually want to live, even if it means muddy boots instead of red carpets. Trust me, the view is much, much better.